Let's get into some shite. Hi, folks. Welcome to the Out of Tune podcast. My name is Rick. I'm going to just kind of be chatting a little bit with you for a while. How about that? It's one of those kind of times when sometimes you just need to chat. You might want to sit down and have a little chat. Maybe your day's not going so well. You need something to forget something that happened during the day. How about that? Hey, who was the person that decided that we needed to know more about Alec Baldwin's family? Why are we being bombarded with this show, The Baldwins? Look, I am a Baldwin, and I don't want to know any more about what goes on in Alec Baldwin's family. Look, so here's the thing. If they had made a TV show about my family, now that would be some television right there. But Alec Baldwin, what do we need to know about Alec? What possible information could we want? Who's lining up to watch this show? I guess his cousins and maybe families watching it. But why? Who's interested in this? I'm sorry. I don't know how this show's going to keep going. I don't even know how my show's going to keep going. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for popping into my podcast. This is the podcast, by the way. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I do believe that here in Atlanta, I think winter's over. It's done. Yesterday, let me set this first. Like a week ago, I have a fire in the fireplace. It's freezing outside. Yesterday, I'm taking my dogs to the vet, and it's 77 degrees. It's almost 80 degrees in Atlanta here in February of 2025. I don't know. I think winter is done. We'll usually get a little, maybe a one or two little cold spells in March and then April. Sometimes, I don't know. I'm not going to predict snow, but it's happened. But I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think we're done. I think it's okay. I think the buds are going to start coming out, blooms, flowers, gardens are going to start growing. So what's it like where you are? If you're up north, I know some people get snow all the way up into June, right? Right? I envy you. I gotta say, I do. I would like to be doing that. What I am doing though is walking. This is the kind of stuff you do as an old person. You not at the mall. Now, I could be doing it at the mall. Maybe I should. Should I just go full on old guy and go walking? Are there still malls? I think malls only exist for old people to walk in, right? I started walking in the neighborhood. I don't like it. I'm not an exercise person at all, but I figured walking, I mean, you don't need equipment. It's something you've been doing since you were like a year. And it's how hard is walking, right? Well, it's pretty darn hard. It's when you get to my age, it's hard to walk. So I'm walking around the neighborhood. I think it's supposed to help me live longer. I don't know. That's what they say. What I've noticed is like any kind of disorder, disease, any kind of disc thing that you could get, it always says the way to fix it is exercise. Now, I'm not an exercise person. I'm not an athlete, and I've never been. I can remember when I was in college. So here's the thing. When I was in college, I was trying to impress a girl, right? And I knew she jogged. I saw her jogging with her roommate. And so I thought, oh, this is a good way to meet this girl that I want to meet, right? So I started jogging. I every night I would get my little jogging clothes on. And I would go out and I would jog around the square at the college, this is the trail that I knew she jogged on. And I would do it. And then every once in a while I would see her jogging. She and a roommate would jog, and I would pass by them and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Try not to breathe really hard so I seem like I'm, that I'm an athlete or something. I'm not. But I did work up to like 3 miles a day doing that. That's what love will do for you. Or is it lust? Get you up to 3 miles a day. Now, so I'm married. I don't need to prove my love to anyone. And I certainly wouldn't do it by jogging. So I might prove my love to my wife by walking, but I can't because I'm so out of breath. I can't prove anything except that I can't breathe. So anyway, I'm trying to work my way up to it, and that's the best I'm going to do with athlete kind of life is just walking. That's what I've been reduced. We've been talking about going bowling. This is what old people do. My wife and I don't think we've ever done any kind of athletic thing together. And the other day, I think she went bowling, like some office thing. They all went bowling, and she was like, "I forgot how much I loved bowling." And I was like, "Well, I really like bowling too. We should bowl together." And we were like, "Yeah, why haven't we bowled together?" And we didn't have any reason why. So we've talked about bowling together, but I don't know if it's going to go past talking, but it could be cool. I don't know. We're getting really close to St. Patrick's Day. What do you think? Do you have any kind of St. Patrick's Day plans? Atlanta has a pretty nice St. Patrick's parade. I can't remember if I went last year. I believe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. The year before, I think it snowed or rained or something, and then COVID killed it. So it's trying to come back to life. It's kind of a fun one. I don't know. I like St. Patrick's Day stuff. I'm not into there's a thing where, I don't know. I shouldn't complain because it makes me sound like an old guy. Because young people like to drink. Some old people do. They call them alcoholics. But some young people just like to drink for any reason, right? And I'm not really into the whole green beer and paint your face green and drink a bunch of Irish whiskey. And I don't know. That's kind of, I like the celebration of the Irish culture. I'd love to have fun. I like to see Irish parades and things like that. But there are some people who take it a little bit far. Maybe you're one of those. That's okay. I'm not condemning you. I'm just saying I don't necessarily participate in that. But I do like maybe go out and have like an Irish dinner. What's an Irish dinner? Bubble and squeak. Is that right? Mashed potatoes, shepherd's pie, corned beef and hash. There's a lot of Irish dishes out there, and I do like to do that. I don't mind having some alcohol in public. I'll have maybe a Guinness. Guinness anytime. I'll have a Guinness. Maybe some Irish whiskey. I don't know. Maybe an Irish cocktail. I don't know. But I'm kind of feeling the need to go do a little celebrating. So I might go to the parade this year if it's nice. Generally, even though I've just got finished saying this isn't true, it's a little cold in Atlanta during the St. Patrick's Day parade. I always remember that. It gets hot before, and then right at that little area, it gets cold again. So it might be too cold. But I need a good excuse to put on the Irish kilt. So I'm thinking of doing that. Let me know what you're going to be doing here on St. Patrick's Day. If you're feeling brave, you can call the listener line at 678-348-0008. Tell me what you're going to do, and I'll put it on the podcast. Then everyone will know what you're going to do on St. Patrick's Day, how you're going to celebrate. It doesn't hurt to tell people about it, right? Right. Speaking of drinking, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I don't know what I'm not a huge drinker. Now, I do enjoy beer occasionally, and I love a good scotch every once in a while, but that's about it. Occasionally, I'll have a cocktail. My favorite cocktail is gin with some orange juice and a little, what do you call it? Grapefruit LaCroix, sparkling water. Mix that together. Oh, that's really, really, really good. If you haven't had that, do it. So here, let me give you the recipe. Get 1 can of the, what do they call it? Pamplemousse. I just say grapefruit. LaCroix. 1 can. Pour the whole can in there. And then I would say 1 cup of orange juice. It doesn't matter, pulp, no pulp. It really doesn't matter. Just put what you like in there. About a cup. You could go more if you want. And then, depending on what you're in the mood for, 1 to 2 ounces of gin. And I like the London dry gin. I'm really into the Tanqueray. And so put that all together. If you want to add some ice, that's fine. I like all the ingredients to be cold anyway. So the LaCroix is already cold, and the orange juice, the OJ's already cold. Man, tell me what you think of that one. That's a good one. So what I discovered is when I was a kid, way, way, way before I started drinking any alcohol, I love the smell of alcohol. I think I love the smell of alcohol more than I love the drinking of alcohol. Even though occasionally I do like the drinking of the alcohol. So I like the smell of beer. I used to go to football games and smell beer, and it smelled so good. I loved it. And then the first time I tasted beer, I was like, it doesn't taste as good as it smells. But it's okay. First time I ever had scotch, I remember thinking, okay, this is for me. I never had a period of not liking scotch. I always liked it, but I love smelling it. And I love smelling whiskey and almost any kind of spirits. I don't know what that is. I'm kind of a smelly guy in a lot of ways. But I just like the way it smells. I could just go around. Maybe sometimes I should just open up a bottle and sniff it. They should have like little sniffers where you could just sniff it if you want. You don't have to drink it. You can just sniff it. You get pulled over for driving while sniffing. You wouldn't even be intoxicated. You just been sniffing it. But anyway, that's me. I love it. I don't know if I'll have any booze. I might have a cocktail tonight. I've been talking to my wife about going out, so I might have a cocktail. But if I don't, I might open up the bottle of scotch and give it a good sniff. Wanting to smell it right now. Hey, look, we all kind of have our favorite foods, right? Now, I'm thinking tonight my wife and I might be going out and having a little bit of Indian food. And I love the Indian food. Indian food is so much unlike any other food. The spice wise, it's just so different. So like even Italian, sometimes you can have Italian food in an American restaurant. You have a burger in a pizza restaurant. It's like foods kind of blend over. I've been to Korean, Chinese, Japanese restaurants where everything just kind of, they have a little bit of everything. But it's rare that you find anything other, like Indian food is just its own kind of food. They don't have. I did find a saag paneer burrito once with some Indian street food, but you don't get like what dal is. It's like lentils. You don't get like a dal burger where it's just all like sloppy joes or something. Indian food has just got its own spices, its own little thing. It just, if you like it, you do. If you don't, people just kind of draw a line with Indian food, I think. But I wonder. Let me ask you a question. If you had to, you could only pick one kind of food that's like, and for lack of a better word, I'm just going to say ethnic food, another cultural food, a food from a country that you do not live in. Now, if you're listening to this in Puerto Rico, which I guess Puerto Rico, it's not its own country, it's American, but maybe that's let's just say Brazil. If you're listening to this in Brazil, I'm sorry, I don't speak Portuguese, but maybe you're listening to it and you understand it. And so if outside of where you live, you get the point? What kind of food would you, if you could only have one for the rest of your life, what would it be? What would you pick? I think a lot of people, I don't know what, maybe I know a lot of people would pick Mexican food. My wife might be one of those that would pick Mexican food. I do believe, and I'm saying this because I was watching television and it came on, but I'm pretty sure, and this is a pretty varied food-wise, the cultural selection of food is pretty varied, but I think I would pick Japanese. I think I would eat Japanese food for the rest of my life if I had to pick, because you could go from everything with, you got rice, you got soup, you got, if you're a meat eater, you can have like any kind of meat and you can have it grilled. There's just so much flavor there. Burgers, you could get burger. That's what I would do. I think I would do that. And talking about the scent of whiskey and the scent of alcohol, there's something about Japanese food, and I don't know if it's the soy that's got that kind of fermentation smell that comes through the food, a little bit of sesame oil coming through, but it reminds me a lot of alcohol. It reminds me a lot of whiskey, and there's probably whiskey in some of the food, but I just feel like that the scents are very similar. Maybe that's why I like it. But now I'm getting a big craving for Japanese food. I think might want to indulge in the Japanese food. Sorry, I had to refill here with some nice cold water. I feel the need to encourage you just a little bit. You know, we're in a point in the world where things are just going a bit crazy, and I don't even know. I stopped looking at it. I don't even want to look at it. It's just like, it's going to be crazy. Why even look? It's like watching the Baldwins on TV. It's going to be crazy. Why even watch it? I don't know how crazy it could be. How crazy could Alec Baldwin's family be? I don't know. It's a bunch of kids. I was raised with a bunch of Baldwins. All right. We had 7 little Baldwins in the house. I don't want to see more small Baldwins. I really don't. I could do without that. But just crazy things are happening. But here's the thing that I want to encourage you with. And I know I think I've mentioned this in a previous podcast. There's this subtle kind of what I call bully politics, okay? And it happens a lot on social media. Not as much in real life, but sometimes in real life. But it's usually people who they need their point of view followed, taken seriously. And so they have these ways, they've devised these ways to make you feel guilty if you do not either fall in line behind the way they believe, the way they think, whatever they think you should be doing, the way they think you should be protesting or not protesting or doing whatever. You fill in the blank. But they have these subtle ways of making you feel bad if you don't do it. And I just want to say, look, don't give them the power. You do what you need to do. You do what you want to do. You do what you feel like is right and wrong, not wrong, what is right to do. And let what is wrong pass away. We all kind of do what we need to do. We do what we feel like should be done. And I don't think it's a good idea to let other people make you feel bad for the way you're handling the current situation in life. It might be that you currently want to stick your head in the sand. Okay, you're allowed to do that for a while. Why not? And there are people like, don't do that. You're just giving them power. If you do not pay attention, if you do not yell on social media, you're on their side. You hear a lot of that. And I understand what they're saying, but sometimes we're just exhausted. Sometimes we don't want to pay attention. Sometimes we want to hide in our room. We want to turn the TV off. We don't want to read the news. We don't want to be an activist. We don't want to protest. We just want to be quiet and read a book or watch the Baldwins on cable. And that's okay. That's all right. Don't let people push and shove you into doing things the way they think it should be done. You've got a conscience. You just listen to your conscience and just do what that says to do, because that's the right thing for you to do. All right. I don't need to say any more. I do want to leave you with this. So I have this. I've been thinking a little bit about criminals. Hey, what was I talking about just now? I don't know. Criminals. And I do watch a little bit too much of the true crime channels, but I was thinking about names of criminals, and it always seems, I don't know, I read once where the two most popular criminal middle names are Wayne and Ray. So if you've got the name Wayne or Ray as your middle name, I think you might be going to be a criminal. I don't know. I'm saying you might. It could happen. So I was thinking about what other names, what are the criminal names? So if you think about your name and how likely are you to be a criminal with the name that you have? Now, my name, I looked up my name. Here's the thing. There's two of my names were mentioned. The name Rick was not even on the chart, which is good. No criminals named Rick. Probably are. But Richard was like 180 something. Like, I'm not even there. I'm sure, Richard Ramirez was like the Hillside Strangler or one of those crazy serial killers. So I don't know. But I'm just saying overall, it didn't rank high. The name Ricky was like way up there. And that was my name when I was like really young. That's what everybody called me when I was a kid. And I admit I committed a few murders as a kid. And then I changed my name, and I'm fine now. I haven't had any life of crime in quite a while. All right, I want to tell you, these are the top 20 most criminal names. Get your name in mind. Here we go. I'm gonna read you the 20 names that are the top 20 criminal names. So number one, what do you think it is? Number one criminal name, Jeremy. Jeremy. More crimes are committed by Jeremys. Number two, Johnny. I would think that would be opposite, but okay. Number three, Randy. I've noticed that if you watch the ID, there's always Randy. Randy's causing trouble. And I know a lot of Randys, but Randy's doing some shit. Randy's doing some stuff, man, and he's making. I just know if something's going down, Randy is involved, and he may have started it. All right, number four, Terry. Number five, Bobby. Not Bob. Bobby. Bobby did it. Well, Bobby pulled out the rifle, and then it was over at that point. Bobby. Number six, Billy. Bobby and Billy. There's your team right there. Number seven, Timothy. I wouldn't think that is a criminal name. Doesn't sound like it. Timmy? I don't know. Timothy. Number eight, Jason. Number nine, Jerry. A lot of J names. Jeremy, Johnny, Jason, Jeremy. And number 10, Joshua. If you have a J starting out your name, you may be in trouble, because listen to 11 and 12. Number 11, Justin. And number 12, Jose. No, Jose. Still, it starts with a J, though. So we've got Jeremy, Johnny, Jason, Jerry, Joshua, Justin, and Jose. I think there's something there. Don't name your kid something that starts with a J. Number 13, Brandon. Number 14, going back, Jesse. There you go. I wish that I had Jesse's gun. 15, Christopher. That sounds like a young, bright, happy guy name. I don't think Christopher's doing any crimes. Do you? Number 16, Roy. Roy is definitely involved. Number 17, Juan. Juan goes back with the J names. Number 18, Brian. Number 19, Larry. Larry's a blue-collar crime guy. Larry stole the car. That was Larry. Larry and Randy. And number 20, Mikey. That's kind of like I don't know, that's a crime boss name, Michael. Mikey I think he's in the mafia. Mikey in the mafia. All right. Now here's something else that I found that I thought was interesting. These are the names that are broken down as far as like what crime they committed. I don't know why someone tracks all of this, but it's interesting. All right. Robbery. Number 1, Jeremy. 2, Randy. 3, Brandon. Number 4, Bobby. Number 5, Joshua. These are the top 5 robbery names, in case you're wondering. Top 5 drug names. Number 1, Randy. Randy's doing robbery while he's high. Number 2, Russell. Number 3, Jeremy. 4, Justin. Number 5, Bobby. Same guy's doing it. Assault. Number 1, Johnny. Johnny's going to that makes sense. You expect Johnny to kind of assault you. Number 2, Billy. Number 3, Randy again. Number 4, Terry. And number 5, Juan. For fraud, Johnny is number 1. Johnny's the number 1 fraud person. Number 2, Tiffany. That's like some kind of white collar fraud, I'll bet. Tiffany. Number 3, Joshua. Number 4, Samantha. We got 2 typically female names in the fraud. And listen to this. Number 5, Kelly, which it could go male or female, but I think it could be female. So let's just say 3 out of 5 in fraud were females. Oh, no. Murder. Number 1, Alan. Alan! Do you know an Alan? Just stay away. All right, number 2, Harold. Harold's pissed off. He's firing the gun. He's going to commit the murder. Number 3, Russell. Number 4, Daniel. And number 5, Justin. All right, driving related crimes. Number 1, Jeremy. Number 2, Russell. Number 3, Terry. Number 4, Arthur. Arthur, your grandfather is doing driving related crime. Arthur. All right. And number 5, Gabe. And then finally, parole and court date violations. They didn't show up. Number 1, Wayne did not show up. Number 2, Johnny. Johnny's out. Johnny's busy. He didn't have time to show up at court. Number 3, Amber. Oh, no, Amber. Number 4, Walter. Walter is out committing driving-related crimes with Arthur, I think. And number 5, Arthur. So Walter and Arthur, there you go. They don't have time to show up at court. So those are the common names by crime. Now, I want to do, just to be even, just this has got, I don't want to make it lean too heavily for the dudes. These are the top 10 law-breaking female names. If you're a woman, or if you're a lady, or if you're a girl, or if you identify as any of those, I don't know what to say. That I can't figure out nowadays how to be politically correct. I try. All right, let's just say top 10 law-breaking female names. Number 1, Sarah. Sarah she's just let us down. We thought so highly. We thought she was gonna really, she had so much potential. Number 2, Amy. Number 3, Claire. Molly Ringwald in The Breakfast Club. She had a lot of potential, and then she got mixed up with Bender, Johnny, went on a life of crime. Number 4, Lisa. Number 5, Lauren. Number 6, Kelly. Number 7, Rachel. Number 8, Nicole. Number 9, Michelle. And finally, number 10 for these ladies breaking the law, Louise. Oh, my God, Louise. That's a crime spree right there, a bunch of ladies. All right. Hey, everybody, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.